What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and welcome to today's Clash of Clans video. We have another Pro Tips series episode for you guys. This includes one of the co-leaders from my clan, Red Elite, Zet. Now, he is fantastic at breaking down attacks. We're always on voice discussing our attacks together, and some of the stuff he comes up with and basically gives me advice in terms of my war attacks is fantastic. So we've been trying to arrange a time where he could come on and give you guys some of his advice for getting 3 stars in war. Now, this is the CWL Elite, where the Misfits had our recent victory, and Zet had to fix one of the attacks. So there was an attack that didn't quite go right. Zet watched it, worked out exactly how to fix that for the 3 stars, and that's exactly what he's going to share with you in this interview. We're also going to very briefly just discuss attack planning, give you guys a bit of general advice in terms of base identification, and also fixing attacks and advice for that. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you guys do not miss out. Now, I will be trying to bring a little bit more of the Pro Tips series back, and I'll probably keep them very generalized, quite casual, a little bit less kind of full on and intense as to what I've done previously. But let me know, guys, what you think of this format, and if you are interested in joining us at Red Elite or the Misfits, be sure to join my Discord. All of my social media platforms are linked down below, and all of the clans I cover are within that. So when this replay finishes, guys, we will dive straight into that interview so you guys can get a bit of advice on precisely how to fix attacks. So here we go, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so we have Zet on the line. Thanks for joining me, my friend. Do you want to give the viewers a quick introduction to yourself before we then go on to the actual aspects of the video that we're going to share with everyone?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the channel, Judo. My name is Zetetic. I'm one of the co-leaders with Judo in Red Elite. Been playing the game for about 5 years now, and been in Red Elite for the last 9 months. Just been working on trying to elevate my game, work on my attack planning. I think the best way to do that is watching other replays, talking it out with your clanmates, working on your strategy together. So that's what we're going to try to do today.
Exactly. I think that's awesome that you've, built up this experience and you're happy to try and share that with people today. I know that here within the CWL Elite Division, just the other day you took an attack which failed very, very close, but you managed to fix that. And I know that's one thing that we're going to delve a little bit deeper into in this video. But you mentioned there just watching replays, trying to plan out your attacks, just a little bit broadly at first. When you're first looking at a base, what are some of the basic things, some basic advice that you might give to people in terms of planning out their attacks?
Yeah, so I think when you first look at a base, especially on fresh hits, you got to start breaking it down and deciding, do you want to go air, do you want to go ground? You look at those air defenses, you look at those sweepers, the clan castle, the queen placement, because I think those are major factors in is air going to be feasible or not. Do you have a base where the defenses are really tightly packed together? And that makes you start thinking E-drags, get some really high chain value. Do you have a base that's more spread out, lots of splash damage? Maybe then you're thinking P.E.K.K.A.s or dragons.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's even just with that, hopefully that helps people to, just think about things a little bit more logically, where you can actually use certain troops to get the most value out of it. So I think that's a good start for people, essentially.
When you look at a little further in, where are those high HP buildings, where the storage is, are they going to hold up miners? Do you want to go hogs then? Or are they going to hold up your dragons? E-dragons can benefit from those high HP buildings in the middle because they'll chain through them, but dragons and miners just get caught up on them.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So, obviously, I mean, it always seems like when I'm planning my attacks, I'll be, briefly working through, as you said, with things, and then we jump on voice, which I always recommend just discussing things through with your clanmates. I've certainly learned a lot from you myself, but I'll often be there and you'll say, hey, Judo, have you thought about doing, this instead, using a couple of giants to tank that archer tower instead, perhaps? Just little things like that. How do you maybe hone down on them specifics a little bit more for the base itself?
Yeah, so I think when you first start planning, you really, you decide that air or ground. If you're going ground, then you got to decide where you're going to put your wrecker, and then you can start planning that funnel and what troops are going to get you there most cost effectively. I think that's where you come in with, do you go in with an E-drag to set your funnel? Can you do it cheaper? An E-drag costs 30 camp space. Can you do it with, a giant and 2 wizards? Do it for half the price. I think that's, sometimes it just takes more than one set of eyes looking at it. I think that's the added benefit of group planning. Watching other people's replays. How did they do it? How did they get through that, that corner archer tower that was going to pull your queen walk out of the way? They go in with a couple of loons to take that out. What's the most efficient way to do that?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Essentially what you're saying is, just briefly there at first, you've came through your plan, you've kind of honed down a bit of a strategy and what you think's going to work for the base, but then it's really trying to nail down that efficiency, which I feel moves nicely onto what we're going to discuss here in terms of fixing attacks. So it is actually, once you've got your strategy, it's thinking, how can I do this the most effectively or the most efficiently to give me the best chance of the 3 stars?
For sure. And I think when you're looking at other people's replays, you want to start looking at that attack and saying, is there something I can do to dramatically improve this so I don't get the same results or do worse?
Yeah, no, totally. I know for myself, whenever I try and mimic Boar Witch style attacks, I just cannot do it. I can't seem to get that attack. Maybe there's just a certain amount of randomness within that attack that, just makes it difficult to replicate. But I struggle personally, you know this yourself, Zet. I've even had Town Hall 11s do better than me when I've then tried to hit it as a 12 and mimic the attack. It's crazy. But basically, you touched upon there, can you do better? And I think that's a key thing here. Can you improve the attack in order to fix it, or do you have to go back to the drawing board?
Exactly. So I think you look for those hits that did a good job, that got a high percent, and you just start playing through the replay and saying, what is it that, where could I save troop capacity? Where could I make a better funnel? Is there a better way to handle the enemy CC or the enemy heroes? Is there just a slightly better angle to put that wrecker through so your troops don't split up on you prematurely?
Yeah, perfect. So I think, that kind of walks us through an attack a little bit there as well, doesn't it? In terms of, especially when we're starting to plan together, if we're on voice, we've maybe gone down and nailed the actual strategy we're going to hit. We'll start with the funnel and we'll kind of think, how can we most effectively do that? Then it's more looking at the troops and their pathing through the base. Maybe someone's opened up too many compartments and it's actually let the troops split more than they should do. It's trying to work through the attack that way as well, so that you can then get the best efficiency out of each aspect of the attack, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Oh, spot on.
Yeah, and then obviously we have kind of the cleanup portions as well. That's obviously a big thing that, sometimes can be corrected. Maybe, I don't know, just before we get onto the attack itself, maybe just a couple of common things that you might see or that you might commonly fix in an attack. Is there anything specific that bounces out to you, or is it more what you've already discussed there?
Well, I think when you're looking at a replay, the big question is, was it a time fail or did your troops fall short? And then in the cases of the time fail, first just evaluating, would a different set of cleanup troops or more cleanup troops have gotten the job done?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think especially if, let's say, Tesla farms are very important and very much something that you will see at high level, that's something that once you know that it's there, it can be so much easier to then you know, integrate that into your plan. And simple things as well, like, you know, if you see one of your healers go down, can you easily get a balloon in there in order to set off that trap in order to help you? I think that they're kind of generic stuff that might help people when they are, you know, trying to fix attacks.
Yeah, can you set off that tornado before your main squad gets there? Can you, you know, deal with that corner Tesla that then you could clean up the whole corner with just a simple wizard? You know, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to that part of the video then where we first look at the attack that you had, which was a 99% 2-star. Not actually the easiest to clean up. Some people might think actually it's 99% easy pickings, but actually is there anything you can improve here? Because, you know, you've only got that 1 extra percent, or you're doing worse. So you've got a lot on the line when you go for this, and if there's nothing specific, maybe this attack did go flawlessly, how on earth are you meant to fix it? So I've pulled up the 99% here. I don't know if you're happy enough just talking us through this one first before we move on to your attack, where you obviously got the 3 stars.
Tell me when you start the replay and I'll talk through as you play it.
Okay. So I have it pulled up right now, but it's paused right at the start, and I'll count you down 3, 2, 1, and then we'll press play. So 3, 2, 1, and play.
Alright, so you'll see Timefail comes in with a balloon, which he does pull a Seeking Air Mine, so good move there. And then an E-Drag behind it. And now this E-Drag I thought was a little disappointing. He only gets down a couple buildings. He didn't get that corner Archer Tower, so I thought that was definitely something I can improve on. Then he brings in the king on the storage, and you see he beats on the storage till he's half dead and he has to use the ability there. So I said, you know, can I give the king some backup and get him in with some more help and save that ability for deeper in the base? Then you see the Wrecker entering, and he did manage to get the funnel on the left side, but you see on the right side you got a little bit of funnel bleed. You got 2 witches peeling off to the side, and you almost lose a healer or 2 there. So that was something I didn't want to get even less unlucky and lose healers with witches there. So I said, I got to do something about that. And you see the troops are all coming into the middle of the base here. And you have, you know, Expos, you have Wizard Towers, you got multi-Infernos hitting on them. And if you watch, the witches really get kind of caught up here. I noticed that they were stuck in that compartment for a long time. And as the bats would start coming in here, there's not enough tanking for the bats. So my plan was to try to get those wizards in, or the witches in, a little deeper, a little faster, and then work my bats in. And the other thing I thought was, if I brought my bats in from the 2 o'clock and swept down through around the base, that I'd get a little better pathing and a little better timing on the bats, so that the troops were deeper when they came in. You see,
that makes sense.
Is allowed here. And, you know, anytime you're looking at an attack where bats were used, bat drag, bat slap, pecker bow bat, whatever it is, if the bats don't make it to the cleanup stage, the first question you ask yourself is, can I get the bats through to the cleanup stage? Because if your bats are up for the cleanup, you're probably not going to time fail.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a minute left in the attack here whereby, you know, the troops have started splitting up. Everything's kind of not necessarily fizzling out, but certainly the attack momentum has slowed down. But even that in itself, obviously we'll get to your 3-star in a second, even that in itself, you know, you might very well sometimes maybe underestimate how much you need to fix if it's a 99%, but I think what you demonstrated to me there was that never underestimate and fix every single thing that you can. Don't just look at it and think, oh, well, that E-Drag, I can fix that, now if I do exactly the same, I'll get the 3-star. You're still looking to make this even more efficient and even more efficient to just absolutely maximize your success of that 3.
Yeah, especially when you have a great attacker going ahead of you on a strategy that they're quite good at.
Yeah.
You can't expect that you're going to get the same value out of everything else. So you need to find a couple things to fix if you're going to, you know, make this worth going back and hitting again, especially in a CWL match. Absolutely.
And man, I didn't even realize how close this was. I mean, that elixir collector had everything going for it. It was just about crushed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's awesome. What I'll do is I'll pull up your attack here. I can notice straight away that there is not an Electro Dragon down there in the troop composition, and I can see replay ends in 231. So, pretty epic there. You managed to not only take down the base efficiently, but shaved off, 30 seconds there as well. So, I've got the replay pulled up. Mike is yours, buddy. As soon as you're ready, I'll go ahead and start the replay and we'll go from there.
I am ready to go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go.
Alright, so started off in a similar fashion, but I dropped the E-Drag for a baby dragon, because I thought I could get the same value on that top corner with just the baby dragon, so just a fraction of a third of the camp space.
Yeah.
I see I pulled the black mine the same, the baby dragon takes out those 2 structures that I needed for the funnel, and you can see I put a wizard in behind the king. Not only is that helping the king get through the storage faster, but it also takes out that, it was also supposed to take out, but I dropped it just a little in range of the archer. It was also supposed to take out that elixir collector. Now, coming into the base, wreck are coming in at pretty much the same angle. And now I brought with me a jump, and I did that by dropping a bat and a poison. And the idea was that if I could jump in behind that eagle, I could just get those witches in a little faster and a little deeper to help protect my bats.
Yeah.
So,
like you said, if they got stuck up there before, just basically getting them through that jump, because the witches, you can get that momentum. The rage is not always beneficial to them, but that jump giving them access, I think, is perfect for you.
So I bring an ice golem in from the top there to tank for the entrance of the bats. I bring a few balloons because I did find out about that right corner Tesla thanks to the replay. And then I have my bats start sweeping in from the corner here. I put a baby drag behind because I noticed that 3 o'clock corner was slow to get cleaned up. And you can see the bats are starting to work through. Only took me 1 freeze on the multi because my witches were tanking it before that. And then I still have 2 freezes left coming in.
Yeah, so for that back multi, you've got them 2 freezes ready, and boom, you can even hit the air defense there. Very nice touch to, get both defenses and not just go for that multi.
You can see at this point, I got a ton of bats still up in the air. The last archer tower going down. I brought an extra balloon for that Tesla in the corner because, again, I knew about it from the replay. I had a minion for the cleanup on that elixir collector that got time fail.
Yep, just make sure you get one for that building specific.
Just making sure that things, because I knew things weren't going to get back up there fast. So I figured between the balloon on the Tesla and the minion working in from the top, I'd get that. My bats and my baby drag would clean up the bottom. I think I had a wizard or 2 working behind them. You can see my
and
queen.
You had your queen banging
health
against a wall.
Like she always does.
Exactly.
She had full health. The warden had full health. I had 2 healers behind him, so I still had plenty of momentum in case there were still some defenses up, and plenty of time to get it done.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely perfect, and thank you so much for coming on and, discussing just a little bit about, attack planning. Hopefully that helps people out, but also then getting a bit more specific. I think that was a really nice example of how to fix attacks and how to look at things a bit more broadly and just, give people a few ideas. So thank you so much for that. Any closing words before we wrap up, buddy?
No, I think that's pretty much it, but thank you so much for having me. Always a good time to come on and chat about strategy with you, Judo.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back on the channel sometime soon. Thank you so much, and that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this one, guys. So if you do want to see my previous Pro Tips episode where we discussed the bat slap technique in itself, be sure to click this video right here. It will take you to it, and until next time, peace out.